Sportco Warehouse Sporting Goods, Outdoor Emporium in downtown Seattle. You can go to sportco.com for information, and you can find everything in front of you here, all the cures. You can't get the sugar at Sportco, but you can get everything else, though.
There we go.
All right.
Yes,
60
you can.
seconds to success. This particular creation of yours, Duane, is one that is it's fairly recent, correct? This is something that you've worked on in the recent couple of years.
Yeah, the past. This is probably third year.
Okay.
I've been running with this. I started getting a hold of this sardine powder, which is the game changer for me, and I've given it ample time to prove itself, time and time again. I fished it amongst myself with 2 or 3 different eggs that I have at the river at any given time. Fish eggs, oh, nothing biting, put on this, and boom, float down. And fished with other guys, side by side all day long. And just at the end of the day, you kind of do the tally and see which eggs are working. And man, I tell you, we talked confidence with Shane earlier, Joel. This one here is a confidence builder, hands down.
The thing that's interesting about this is that you're mixing 2 different kinds of cures together.
Somewhat, yeah. What I've done is I've taken our standard Baraxo fire, which is predominantly a steelhead cure because it's no sulfites, and it produces somewhat of a drier egg. And I started realizing several years ago that the fire cure works fantastic. It's a sulfite-based cure. It's the Marchiano cure from way back when. It works really, really well for fall salmon. The problem is at times, now I have coho eggs here today, but oftentimes you get really mature fish upriver, and especially with your Chinook salmon, those eggs are somewhat looser. The skin is starting to break apart on it, and I was trying to tighten up the eggs so they fish better. Not only do they smell good, have great color, put out tremendous milk scent trail, but I want an egg that's a little more durable, that's going to last more than 2 casts. So I switched from using the fire cure, and I started using the Baraxo fire, and just experimenting with adding a certain amount of my own sodium sulfite, which you can find at most of your stores in a container, and added in a little extra krill. And basically, it's morphed into what it is today. Got a hold of Eric at Extreme Baits Northwest, and that's where you're going to get the number one sardine-based powder on the market. This stuff right here, it's 100% ground, actual flesh sardine. And that's the game changer because anytime you're curing eggs, and if you put oil-based scents into your cure while the eggs are curing, it ruins the cure. It doesn't allow the eggs to go through the process of absorbing cure and making a really good egg. What it does is it ends up being a really loose, oily egg that doesn't fish well. So back out of adding any extra types of scents into your eggs while you're curing them and add it later. Well, then I found the powders. And the powders, again, are a game changer because it's natural fleshes that are dehydrated. Once they rehydrate, all those natural oils come out of that meat. And if you don't believe me, if you do this and you put those eggs in the water, not only do you see the milk scent and the trail coming off, but you see the oil boiling right off of the eggs.
Let's run through the process.
Okay, so basically what you're going to do is you're going to get your Baraxo fire. I'm going to take a whole brand new bottle or container of Baraxo fire. I'm going to get a tub. I'm going to basically just dump that right into the tub, the whole thing. And to that, because salmon at times, especially mid-river to lower river, like a sweeter bait, I'm mixing in a half cup of just typical ground white, sugar, just standard kitchen grade white sugar, half cup to the full bottle of the Baraxo fire in the container. Okay, so I'm dumping that in there. So I got the Baraxo fire, the sugar. I'm doing with 1 heaping tablespoon of sodium sulfite. That's my bite stimulant. That's what I'm adding in to make it just a little bit hotter, but not hot enough that it's going to make the eggs continue to juice out all the time. It stabilizes in there. It makes a really good cure that's going to toughen up the eggs but not make them too wet and loose. And I'm also going to add in a little extra krill. I put one heaping tablespoon of krill in there just as an additive bite stimulant. Once I have that all mixed up, it comes back to basically, standard egg curing. So that's my base cure that I'm going to put on the eggs. What I have to do then is I got to prep my eggs for curing. Again, to get the blood out of these skeins, and if Blake pulls in tight on here, I got some coho skeins here. They got a little bit of blood left in that vein. All I do is I take my scissors. I'm going to push any of the blood into the main vein that runs along the base of the eggs here, and I'll just put a little snip along that. And when I take my scissors and push along that, I can actually move that blood right to that opening and just wick it out of there with the paper towel. So that gets my blood out of the eggs. It doesn't matter the size of skeins, how many skeins I have. It doesn't take long. Now, these eggs have been sitting in my fridge for a couple days because I needed to have eggs, obviously, for today. But I can still get the blood out of there. And because these are coho skeins, I'm not going to cut them completely in half, but I am going to snip right down the middle of them here. I want to butterfly them open so it opens up the eggs a little more. Make sure that that cure gets in there. Okay. Now that these are prepped and ready, I like to do this on a clean paper towel, and I'll show you a reason why here in a second. So I'm going to lie these on here, like this, and now basically all it is taking the sardine powder. So you have two things going here, guys. You got the different mixture that I put together in combination with that Baraxo fire, which is part one. Part two is what we put on here first. I'm taking this sardine powder, which again is actual 100% ground sardine flesh with all the oils and everything in there that the fish really want. I put that on there, and then I'm going to simply take my mixture of Baraxo fire. I'm going to sprinkle this on here. So sprinkling, a good coating on here. Don't have to worry about putting too much like you do with fire cure because it's not a heavy sulfite base, which is going to burn your eggs. It's again, it's a Baraxo fire with a minimal amount of sulfite in there. So, go ahead and put some extra on there, the extra juice that we're going to also add. Eventually, we're just going to drain off anything that does not absorb. I pick up the paper towels right there, dump all of that right into the bag. Okay, so all that goes in there. Now, because I'm dealing with dehydrated sardine powder that I want to rehydrate, again, extra juice is your friend. I'm going to take some good old Potsky's Red Nectar, which again is just egg juice, and I'm going to put some of that in here. Now, I don't really measure. I just squirt it in there because any excess I'm going to drain off. And the other thing I like to do is add tremendous amount of color. Is a new Potsky's Fire Dye is a liquid dye with tremendous color and UV. It's going to make a really deep, dark red egg. Now, when I'm curing up the Chinook eggs or the chum eggs, and this bag is over half full of eggs, I will put in a whole tablespoon of the fire dye per, gallon baggie. I got a little bit in this bottle here. I'll just squirt this in here because, again, I only got 2 skeins of coho. So we'll put that in there. That's basically it. I mean, it's pretty doggone simple, but it's the change that I've put into the Baraxo Fire Cure, and it's the added sardine powder that is what's making the difference. You got a sweeter based cure with a little bit of sulfite, and you have that sardine in there. And I got to tell you, when you're curing up eggs, and it comes to salmon fishing, and tuna is also another good additive, but for whatever reason, when it comes to eggs, the fishier they smell, which seems kind of like a moron statement, but truly, when you smell eggs, they either smell like eggs, or they smell like shrimp, or they smell like whatever you've put on them. But the fishier they smell, to me, seems to be what really entices Chinook and coho to bite. And for whatever reason, that sardine powder puts a really strong fish-based smell to these eggs. And they're going to be a durable egg that fishes well because of the Baraxo Fire base to them. And okay, I'm going to basically, now that these are in the bag, I need to leave the air in the bag. I'm going to tumble these around about every 15 minutes, 20 minutes for a little bit to mix this cure up. I want to do that for the first couple hours. Make sure that it's, well mixed and that the eggs begin to cure. After a couple hours and they're bathing in that juice, we'll fast forward, say it's been a couple hours. I'm going to pop the seal on the bag. I need to roll all the air out of the bag. Again, this is a couple hours into it. I'm going to roll all the air out of the bag because what I want to do now is leave these eggs sitting at room temperature. And this time of year, it's perfect in the garage. Room temperature is ideal in the garage with the temperatures we have outside, mid-60s. That stays out of the refrigerator. Do not put them in the fridge for at least 24 hours. You'll slow the process. They won't cure as well. They're going to reabsorb most of the juice that's in the bag at room temperature. After that, put them in the fridge for a couple days. Excess juice before you go fish them, throw them in your colander or strainer. Strain off the excess juice. Let them just air tackiness for a couple hours. They don't have to be dripping wet to catch salmon. They have to be full of juice and be and put out that milk and scent trails. So drain off that extra juice. Pack them in your tub. Go fish them. I think you'll be pleased with the results.
If you check out Duane's Facebook page, you'll see the results of this particular
Yeah, that's a good point.
Works
And also,
good.
you know what I did? Because the other day when I went out and I posted up some pics of success on some Chinook guys were saying, how'd you get those? So I did a couple of things, Shangle. I took our 60 seconds to success from 2 weeks ago on the float drifting technique. How to rig that, because that's what I've been doing. And then also this particular blog on pot skis, I took those two and I put them on our Facebook page, Northwest Wild Country. And that in combination gives you the how to rig it, how to cure eggs, and how to fish it. And hoping to help people out. Give them
this will be the third enhancement of that particular deal. We'll have this posted up here sometime over the next day or two on the Facebook page as well. That is 60 Seconds to Success, brought to you by Sportco and Fife and Outdoor Emporium in Seattle. You can go to www.sportco.com for information. Let's take a break. When we come back, ahead of us an hour or two, we'll be joined by Cody Herman, Hank Shaw, and a gentleman by the name of Buzz Ramsey.
Who?
That guy. Again, right?
Again.
Come on back to Sports Radio 950 KJR and Comcast Sportsnet Northwest.